Well, hello.
Can you hear me? Because somebody said they can't hear me.
Yeah, you were a little bit low. I can hear you now, though.
Okay. I think I've turned it up now. So how are you this morning? It's a bit, it's early for you. Well, not
Yeah, I'm
early for
good.
you probably, but it's earlier.
Well,
So
it's early
anyway,
on a Sunday.
it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just said before you came here, we do strange things on a Sunday. So, everybody, you will know him as Sergeant, but you're not anymore. Well, you're not in the military anymore, are you?
No, I am retired now.
So that where are you at the moment? I don't want you to tell me anything
Uh,
other
s-
than the country.
so I'm still in the USA.
That's important because,
Yeah.
as you know, when the scammers use you, they have you in the army and they have you deployed and they have you in Afghanistan or Syria
hmm
or, Iraq, places like that. So it's important that we can tell people that you're not
Yeah.
and you're not going to be.
No, no, not unless I get a whole lot of money for it.
Those days are over. You're
Yeah.
well out now. Yeah, so tell us about the life of somebody being used by scammers.
It's a simple life. Not much to do. No, I'm kidding. It's not. No. So the life of someone being used by scammers, it's a little complicated, and it's a little rough at times, because it has an effect on not only the person themselves, but uh, on your job, on your personal life, so on and so forth. So it can be difficult. It can
And,
be navigated, but
and still as many people contacting you?
just about, yeah. Not, well, I won't say not as many. It's been a few, a little bit less, but still people contacting me.
Yeah, because
Um,
we still come across you used far too much.
yeah,
Do you find that people accept what you tell them?
not right away. No. Sometimes it's very difficult for them to accept it. Just we talked, and a lot of people sometimes they, even while they're talking to me, just like you are, they're still being contacted by the scammer,
Yes.
and they still want to believe that that scammer is a person that is the real person.
Yeah.
And it's like you're literally seeing me, you're
Yeah.
hearing me talk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No computer generated movements or anything like that.
No.
And they still have a hard time accepting it.
Yeah. I mean, we hear many stories, and the scammer always seems to be able to come up with a story that, even though it doesn't sound right, it will be accepted. They've got a reason for you saying, well, you haven't been talking to me or something. They'll go back to the scammer and then, oh, well, I only said that because I was in a place where I couldn't acknowledge you or something. So
Hmm
we've got to get it to people that if they contact you and you say you're not in Afghanistan and you're not in
Oh
love with
yeah,
them, then you're not.
exactly, exactly.
Do you ever
Um,
get
it,
blamed? Do you get blamed for it?
I have, I think twice I was blamed. It was my fault because my page wasn't on private. It was my
Yeah.
fault because I put the pictures out there for the scammers to steal. And I say to anybody that tries to blame the individual um, for their pictures being stolen or anything like that, is that that's completely absurd. We have a right to live our lives, use
Exactly.
Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, whatever, just like everybody else. And there's millions of people whose pictures and stuff are not stolen. They're not used in
Yeah.
scams. So whatever the scammers decided made me worth using,
Yeah.
I have nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
You know?
And once they've got the pictures, it doesn't matter. You put yours on private, but it actually doesn't matter that you do then because they've got the pictures.
hmm
They've chosen you. They've taken them. And I think some people will say to us, "Well, I think that he should do something about it. I think he should stop them using his pictures."
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but
But yeah, well, they don't come up with a solution as to how you're going to stop them using your pictures, but they want
exactly.
you to stop them, and you can't.
Yeah, I can't just walk out the door and say, "Hey, can you guys stop using? Quit that. Yeah, just stop that."
Yeah,
I can't do that. They're in Nigeria or they're in some foreign country, and you know, it's it's
they've got
almost
them. If they want to use them, they will use them. I mean,
yeah,
we still see people. I had someone on the page this morning, and it took me ages to convince her. But the man's pictures are a good 10 years old.
mhm,
We've seen him over 10 years. I mean, even his tattoos were different. He only had the very basic tattoos on one of them, and he's had
yeah,
these tattoos for years. And so they use them all the time they've got them.
hmm
They will use them, and it's not your fault. And we very much do not believe that you should be in private, because you should have the same rights as anybody else.
yeah.
And
I
even
agree.
if you were in private, Terence, I mean, what happens is somebody comes and sends you a follow request with a very innocent looking normal face of a normal person or a cat or a dog or something. You still accept it, but it could be your average Nigerian who then cleans out all your latest pictures.
Hmm
So you can't guard against it, because that's like saying to you, don't accept any more followers.
Yeah. No,
You
and
know,
it's difficult. I mean, it's and I've taken steps to try to put my page to be able to put my page back on public, and I have
yeah.
to watermark my pictures, and I have to, you know, put my name on it wherever,
Mm-hmm.
and I found that people still the scammers will try to blur out
Mm.
my watermark, but for me that would be an indicator that there's something wrong. You know what I'm saying, with that picture. If I was
Yeah.
the regular person looking, I'd be like, why is this blurred out? But it
I've
doesn't seem to
seen
work.
I've seen them take off or sort of disguise the name on the uniform as well.
Hmm
Um, so instead of having your surname, but the best one I actually saw was Kelvin, and sort of the U.S. Army don't put your first name on the uniform. So we've got to get people to look at everything as well. If they've got contact, we've got to get them to look at everything and see that if there's something is wrong. And also what I think is important is the way you talk,
Yes,
because this is your conversation voice.
that's it. It doesn't really. It may get a little bit more excited, or may get a little bit more, like I don't know, but this is it.
You are not saying to somebody, hey baby, love you really, what is it? Love you very much, honey,
Yeah.
as they do. And one thing that I think is very important is the fact that they use honey at the end of every sentence, and they use baby a lot, and wife and queen and things like this. And I've never heard any of you use any words like that at all.
No, it's not something that's reserved for every person that you talk to. It's reserved for more intimate conversation with a
Yeah,
specific person.
yeah,
And it's not everyday conversation, and
no,
it's not part of every single conversation.
yeah. And you do see it. You do see it with
Yeah.
honey at the end of every line. And so it's important that they get to know how you talk, so that when they've got contact with somebody else they're not familiar with, they can realize that it's not you. We've got to do everything to take away your picture in their mind and make them doubt.
Yeah.
And, it's things like, have you ever been on Hangouts with anybody?
No.
I don't know anybody that goes on Hangouts.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean,
Uh,
I'd never heard of it until I did this, but I never, I've talked to many people, not one of them's ever been on Hangouts.
mm-mm.
And of course, the scammer will get all his victims onto Hangouts, call them honey, so he doesn't have to remember their name. And so they're scamming probably 100 women at the same time.
Yeah.
So if you were deployed and you wanted to call home to your family, you would be allowed to do that.
Yes.
Obviously,
Absolutely.
there are the restrictions as to where you are and things like that. I understand that. But there isn't a blanket rule that you can't video chat because you're deployed.
No, there's not. So, you know, when I first deployed back in 2003, 2004, it was like that because the war had just started. Everything was, you know, we didn't have the security measures in place that we do now. So and you couldn't video chat anyway. Cell phones were still kind of new.
Yeah.
They didn't have video capabilities like that. No one had them, you know, readily available. We had to make phone calls through an operator in order to call home. That was, you know, early, you know, that was 2004, 2005.
In
You know,
history.
so fast forward a few years,
Yeah.
you know, now we have cell phones and stuff like that. There's only one specific group of military individuals that may find themselves in a position where they can't make calls, but even them, they still have ways to do it. For 99% of everyone else, they can make calls anytime they want.
I think it's a bit logical because you want to check up, you know, the thing when you're away, you know, a very important thing is knowing that your family's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to know that you're fine as well. So even if it's just a short call, you know, a couple of times a week, it's there. And so obviously you can video chat, you can voice call. Now, the thing is that scammers will ask for cards.
Yeah.
And they say that you need a card for communication.
Yeah, that's incorrect. That's false. It's a lie.
Absolutely.
It's just wrong. No, we don't.
And the army pays for, well, the army provides well. The army provides you with everything.
Yeah. We don't. So there's nothing that a soldier, a Marine, a sailor, an airman would have to come out of pocket for when it comes to, you know, quality of life or welfare for that serviceman. So phone calls, movies, entertainment, whatever, the military tries to provide as much as they can to make their living situation while they're deployed comfortable.
Because I mean, I obviously I've not been to your bases, but I've heard that some of the bases that you go to are huge.
Yes.
You know, they small, self-contained, almost little towns.
Yeah. Cities. They can be considered cities.
Yeah.
I mean, there's, you know, for those of us that have been deployed, there's some bases out in Afghanistan and out in Iraq or whatever that are large, and they have everything contained right there within them.
Yeah.
So the soldiers aren't going to be going out anyway, but still, you know, everything that they need is right there.
Well, you see as well, this is something else that they will tell the women, that send them some more money because the food that the army's paying them the food the army's feeding them is really awful. So they want to go out and be able to buy food.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Now on that one, I have to.
Can you?
I have to say, so sometimes that is kind of true. The food that the army serves, it's not always the greatest.
No, I
but
was
they
in the
still should
Navy
be
and
asking.
I wasn't.
Yeah, but they still shouldn't be asking for money to go get, you know, food or anything like that. Soldiers, they make enough money so that they can go buy pizza or burger or
you know,
whatever.
the thing is, you've got your money. You have access to your money at all times.
Yes.
So there's no way that you know, that you ever need anybody to send you something. I mean, if I've heard stories of things like, you need a new phone. So they'll get a woman to send them a phone to an agent, usually a Nigerian agent.
Yeah.
No.
No, that's not. No, not at all.
And it's getting the message across. If we can get the message across to enough people that everything a scammer is telling them is just about the opposite to what is true. Every single story that I have heard is just about the opposite, you know, of what is actually true, you know, that they're doing.
Yeah, it is. It's the message doesn't get out there. I mean, you know, I think women need to, or anyone that's scammed, man or woman, they need to start trusting their instincts a little bit more. I think, they know internally somewhere that something might not be quite right, but they're
Yeah, I
choosing
think, yeah,
not to listen to that, and that has to stop. That as soon as that alarm goes off, in your head or in your heart or wherever, you need to take a step back and say, hey, wait, hold on, time out. Let me look at this.
yeah. And they need to think and they need to step back. And if they're not happy, they need to get out of it. Because I know the scammer will keep going.
Hmm.
They will come at them all the time. But I love you, honey. I want to be with you, honey. And then they'll go away. And then there'll be an email. And then there'll be calls. And they won't stop. They're like a dog with a bone. They will not stop. And so we've got to get people. Well, they won't stop until you stop them.
Yeah,
So we've
yeah,
got to get people strong enough to do it. Because, if you were away, and so something that always gets to me is if in the real world you were in Afghanistan, you'd been deployed, you'd gone out there with your unit, the army's flown you out there, and you were all on the base, and you were all there. And you were talking to somebody, and you said, honey, I don't like being over here. Can you apply for me some leave so I can come and visit you?
I wish it was that simple. I wish it was that easy, or had it been that easy. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. The Army or any military branch of service will afford you the opportunity for leave, but the service member earns that leave. They don't have
Yes.
to come out of pocket for that. They earn that every month.
And
You know,
you would apply for it. If you had any reason to want to have that leave, it is
mhm.
you that applies for it, not a woman.
Yeah, no, no.
It is you. And if you are going to come home for any reason, the army will fly you home.
Hmm. Yeah, if there's an emergency, if there's anything going on, the Army will get you, or the Navy, Marines, whatever, they'll get you there.
I mean,
With no issues.
I've seen, we've had air tickets sent to us, and they'll say, "Is this real?" And it's a ticket on a civilian flight from something like Damascus Airport, and they're saying, "Is this real?" Well, I don't think. I know you wouldn't end up being in Damascus Airport, but everything is done by the army, and we've got to get this across
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you're not going. You're not going to be in Damascus Airport.
No, not the foreseeable future. No,
No, no more. Um,
no.
but no, and we've got to we've got to get away from we've got to get away from them being able to exploit for anything. Now, if you were away and something happened at home, and you had a son or a daughter at home who had a birthday, you would not be asking a woman to provide that child with a card or a gift.
No, not unless not unless she's her her mother or her,
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
But you see, Terence, this is what we've got to get across. The
yeah,
fact that these women think they're being helpful. And once a child's brought into it, it changes the whole thing.
yeah, it does. And
Because
that's, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
because a woman thinks, I can't let the child down.
Hmm. Exactly. No,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what I was going to say. These scammers, they know what to use to get some of these women to believe them a little bit more, or to give them what it is that they're looking for. And they use everything. They just, even the fact that they use the military itself. Our society in the last, let's say, 15 years has become more celebratory of our
Yeah.
military services. They've become more, everyone is like, thank you for your service,
Yeah.
because we've been
We
in a
see
state
that a lot.
of
Yeah.
yeah, because we've been in a state of combat for the last, 15 years. um, you know, the government has pushed for, people to thank veterans for their service, thank service members for this, give them discounts, whatever else. So these scammers, they know that people look at us in service and they trust us because we wear the uniform, because we're out there
Yeah.
fighting, whatever. So they use that, and these women, they don't want to believe that a service member who's supposed to be this upstanding
Yeah.
citizen would lie to them or anything like that. And these scammers, they use that, they prey on these women, and it's sad. It's really
It,
sad. It's
it's sort of my point that it can't be you doing it, because they will say, well, it must be him. I saw him in a video, so it must be him. And you've just said there that when you go out in that uniform in the United States, you are revered, you're lauded, you are somebody that's fighting for your country, and they are very, very grateful to you. Now, it can't be you that's scamming, because you are so easy to find.
yeah,
I mean, it would be a bit
yeah,
dim if you were going to be scamming as your own picture.
yeah. No, and it's crazy to me, and that's something we talked about before. You know, I'm not hiding.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to be a mystery man. I'm not trying to, I'm the exact opposite actually. I'm trying to get my face out there. I'm trying to get my message out there. I'm trying to build my platform,
yeah,
which is what I was doing before this influx of scammers hit me, and the page that I'm on now got shut down. And I had to fight to get it back, and I think you all helped me to get
yeah.
it back. But I wouldn't do that as myself. That's the moment that the
Makes no
military
sense to
catches
me.
wind of it. Yeah, I'm going to prison.
That's right. And they would catch wind of it very, very quickly,
Yes,
you know.
yes.
So, we've got to get a lot of common sense into this.
Hmm.
Another thing that we have ever such a lot of is where, don't laugh, where you're in Afghanistan and you find several bars of gold and millions of dollar bills. And you're going to put them in a package, and you need to send it from Afghanistan to your new woman friend, wherever she is. Now, please comment on that.
I'm trying not to laugh because you told me not to laugh.
You can laugh.
No. Okay. So no, that's not going to happen. Um, so first of all, I think the last time anybody found any gold in Iraq or again, I don't know about hearing about it in Afghanistan, but I know in Iraq, that was around 2003 to 2005.
Wasn't there a
Where
movie
people
made
were.
of it?
Yes,
Yeah,
there
I
was.
thought there was. Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it, but
No,
there was a movie made
it
about
sort
it.
of rings a bell.
Yeah, but the last time anybody found, or there was reports of anyone finding uh, gold or large caches of gold, was around that time, and the government confiscates it quick. You
Yeah,
can't. So any package that you send out of an area like that is going to go through customs. So it's going to be scanned. It's probably going
yeah,
to be opened. It's going to be checked for contraband and stuff like that because people were also sending home, war trophies like knives and
yeah.
things of that nature, whatever else. So uh, that's not going to happen.
Would you
And
use
honest,
your would you use the army official shipping system to send anything home if you were going to do that?
um, anything like that, no, because like I said, it's going to go through customs. It's going to be checked,
Right. Yeah.
and eventually, even if you do find a gold bar and you try to send it through the mail, the package will get to the house, but the gold bar won't be there.
No, I often think that there's a lot can happen to it between here and
Yes.
there. No, you know, a lot of the a lot of the stories are so unbelievable, and it's like I know people want a little bit of um, excitement in their life,
Hmm.
but these go too far. And if it's not going to happen in real life, it's not going to happen online.
This is true.
And
This is very true.
also, if you were aware, have you ever known anybody um, to get in touch with a woman, fall in love with her, and plan to get married before he's met her?
No, not really. I mean that anytime I have heard that, it's been a scam. It's
Yeah,
been, it's been fake. Um, and it's sad, but I would tell anyone, meeting, people say, well, I'm never going to use the internet to date or go to
yeah,
online dating sites or whatever else. I would say that's, you don't have to necessarily do that. It's fine to meet someone online. It's fine to meet someone through a dating app. It's fine to, whatever, to meet someone that way. But meeting someone that way and then continuing the relationship is totally different. So you
Yeah.
can meet, if I
Yeah.
meet you online and I say,
Yeah.
oh wow, Ruth, you're great. I'd really like to, continue talking to you, whatever else. At some point, I have to make a date or set a plan
Yeah.
to meet you in person.
Yeah.
I'm not going to continue like this for the next, 2 years.
There's no point. I
Yeah.
mean, to me, a dating site is to meet somebody in person and to meet them fairly quickly. I mean, I'm not saying the next day, but, and again, so we'll come on to the next bit, which is the video chat.
Hmm.
Because this is a video chat where you and I are sat in front of the sat in front of the camera, and one of us can talk, the other one can answer, mouth is going to the words, it's not bad reception. I mean, you and I are on opposite sides of the world at the moment, and we are managing this perfectly normal, perfectly good video chat.
Yeah.
So do it.
Exactly. And I tell you all the time, when this first started happening to me, I was like, hey, it is, this is back in 2019 or 18, 19. And I was like, hey, it's 2019, it's 2018.
Yeah.
Video chat, FaceTime, most of the services that they use, like Google Hangouts and whatever, WhatsApp
Yeah.
and whatever
Yeah.
else, they have a video chat function.
Yeah. And
It's that simple.
don't accept bad reception. Don't accept, because they will say to us, I saw him. It was the same guy. I saw him. So it
Yeah.
had to be real. Of course it
Hmm.
isn't.
No, you will not have a bad signal forever.
No.
No,
No.
not for every conversation.
You try again the next day or whatever, and it keeps, if the signals keeping bad, it's not him.
No.
I mean, ladies like to say, hold up a sign with my name on it. Well, that's so easy Photoshop. Oh, and some of them are good though, aren't they? Some of them are
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah.
I love you, Mike. I'm real, my queen.
Yeah.
We shouldn't laugh,
I,
but we can.
yeah.
Um,
I've seen that a couple times.
yeah, and we do get them. Oh, and something else I want to ask you as well, because we get this a lot. Now, I got one from General Mark Miller yesterday. ID cards.
Mm.
If you didn't know somebody, could you show them your ID card?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't show them my ID card unless you're sitting right in front of me and
Yeah.
what my ID card looks like. But I'm not gonna put it out there and show it to everybody. So
Yeah.
that's not a smart move.
No, it's not. I'm sorry, my dog's playing with the toy here. I don't know whether
No,
you can
it's
hear
fine.
it.
It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, to me, we got one yesterday, and it was General Mark Milley. Is this real? He must be real. He sent me the ID card. But if you have somebody that you don't know, that's a big security issue.
Hmm.
Sending somebody ID is a huge security issue. Oh, somebody said there they always use the name James. I've seen the name James so many times.
Oh God, yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
So no, I'm trying to think of things we can cover, because I told you that they'll ask us questions, and we'll tell them the answers, and they'll say to us, "How do you know?" Well,
Yeah.
I
Well,
know because I've asked.
yeah, exactly. You find someone
Yeah,
that's, if you're uncertain, you find someone that's in the military.
and they say to us, yeah, but you don't really know. So we're finding that when you tell them, I can play them the video, and I say, "This is him telling you," and they can't dispute it.
No, and it's, and I've done this before, where I've sat down and, like, told someone, actually made a video and sent it, and they still didn't want to believe the video.
Yeah.
So, it's like a real time video. And then, so I had to actually call them and say, hey, look, I don't know who you're talking to, but that is not me. I'm physically talking to you right now. You can see me and you can hear me. So whoever's still talking to you, stop talking to them, block them, and delete them immediately, because they're lying to you. And they don't want to believe it. You know, and but it's just goes back to educating yourself. You know, just like you said, if a general hits you up and shows you his ID card, I can tell you right now, that's not going to happen. Most generals in the military, they don't even manage their own social media accounts.
I only know, well, to say I only know one, I don't only know one. I I once talked a lot with one of the general's staff sort of officers, and he had
Mhm.
an actual social media section on his office.
Yeah.
So, and it was Stephen Townsend, um, and I mean, he never came anywhere near social media. It was his media team
Hmm.
that, you know, that did it. So the idea that sort of any general is on there contacting women, you know, saying, hello, honey, I think you're beautiful. It's just never going to happen,
No, it's not.
you know?
You know, it's like I've said before, it's sad that these guys do this to these women. They prey on their loneliness. They prey on their willingness to believe someone in uniform. But you know, women and men too, they have to educate themselves. They have to ask the right questions. And if something doesn't sound right, they have to just stop it completely. It's going to be hard, but
Yeah.
you know, just cut it off because it's not true. No one who really is interested in you or cares about you is going to ask you for money. Um, so I mean, it's you know, people have to start the you know when they come into a situation like that, or if they meet someone or whatever else, they have to they have to turn into the FBI. I like to call it.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
they have to do that right away. They can't wait until something seems fishy and then they start looking for the clues and they start doing their research and the reverse image search and stuff like that to find me. You know, if someone that you see is using my face and they're hitting you up and they start asking you for money or something doesn't seem right away, or hell, even if it seems great right away, say, well, let me do my research on this person first before I continue this. Um,
Because they do the research after.
mhm.
And the thing is that they find us after, they find you after, because we're quite easy to find. You know,
Yeah,
if they've been talking to you for 2 years, um, and you know we're very easy to find, they'll come to us and say we want to ask you some questions. They'll find you and they'll say they want to ask you some questions. But this has been maybe after $20,000,
hmm,
you know, and it's, if in real life anybody wanted me to send them money for any reason whatsoever, they wouldn't last 2 minutes,
no,
because you don't want somebody that that wants money from you. You want somebody for who wants you for yourself.
this is true. This is very true.
And something else that we keep being asked, a little bugbear of ours as well, it's very hard to get verified on Instagram.
Hmm.
And people say, well, why don't they get in, you know, why don't they get verified? We can't get it verified, and we have contact with Instagram.
Yeah,
But you can't.
yeah. No, it's something that I stated when this first started happening to me, and I was deployed. When I came home, one of the first things I did was I made a video about you know scammers out there using military service members and how you know Instagram and these other social media platforms should verify military service members, or they should verify certain people that hold certain positions because you know to me it's sad that there's a celebrity out there that
Yeah.
you know is in movies and stuff like that, whatever else, and they can get verified just like that. But me as a soldier who's defending their freedom to do those things,
Yeah.
I can't get certified or I can't get verified.
And you can
Um,
prove who you are.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
they're going to verify this, you know, this star. You know, Keanu Reeves could get verified in a second. But
hmm,
Keanu Reeves probably doesn't even be the one that applies for it. You can apply for it. You can prove to them exactly who you are
yeah.
without a shadow of a doubt, and they won't do it.
Well, you know, if you know, it's crazy to me, right? Um, if my account goes down, and I submit, a problem report and say, hey, my account has been disabled or deactivated or whatever, I have to send proof that I am who I am. So I have to
Yeah.
send them my driver's license or my passport or my government ID or whatever to verify that I am who I say
Hmm.
I am. So once I've done that, right, to verify that I am who I am and you can give me my account back, that should be verification enough. That should automatically get me the blue check mark.
It, it,
That should,
I think if they don't want to, if they want to keep the blue check mark for the people with 5 million followers, if I usually use Michael Bublé because I don't like him. Michael Bublé has, I don't know how many million followers, and he's got a blue check mark. Well, fine. Introduce a new check mark for the military.
yeah.
Make it a
I
green. Make
There
it a
you
green
go.
check mark. You know?
I said the same thing. Make it a
Yep.
green one for military, make it a
Yep.
red one for firefighters or whatever. But I don't think it's that hard for these social media platforms to verify or even certify that the person that
Yeah.
that you say you are the person that they are saying they are
Yeah.
is that person.
Yeah.
Because it goes behind the idea of the verification and certification anyway. They're doing it for these stars,
Yeah.
and it's, to me, what contribution are they providing to other
They
people?
they bring in people onto the platform so they can look at the advertising. I'm
Hmm.
sure that's what it is. It's just vast numbers.
Yeah, yeah,
And
it's a money thing, it's
yeah.
and it's sad because I have to suffer because I'm
Mm,
not famous, and because if I wanted to be famous, which I wouldn't mind, if I'm going through the process of trying to get there, I can't do it because people keep stealing my stuff.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, if I had a check mark of some kind, if I had a verification, or
Yeah.
even if it's a,
Yes.
a black check mark,
Any
that says that he's a regular person,
yeah.
but he's been verified to be who he says he is,
Yeah.
that should be good enough.
It should be, and it would show everybody. And they've got to accept the fact that there are probably half of the accounts on Instagram are fake, because the more they get away with it, the more that they're getting.
Yeah.
Um,
I,
so at
you know,
some
it
point,
is. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I'm saying, at some point they're going to have to do something.
Hmm. I think if enough people complain about it, they'll eventually start to do something. That's part of the problem too. Is if people are not being directly affected by
Yeah,
this problem, then they don't worry about it. And they're not concerned about it until they're
yeah,
either a victim of it on the scam side, or they're a victim of it on the being used side.
yeah,
And that's, everyone has to say that this is a problem. This is not cool, for people to be used like this, or for their images to be used like this.
yeah,
And like I said, it doesn't just happen to the military. It happens to doctors, lawyers.
yeah.
It happens to pretty women. I have several friends that that work with me, and they I used to tease them because they always had men sending them messages saying, "Hey, I sent you $5,000. Why aren't you talking to me anymore?" or whatever. And they'd get frustrated, and I'd make jokes like, "Well, that's the price of being pretty, or that's the price of being, whatever." And then boom,
Well,
turn
there you
around
are.
and
That's the price of you being
yeah,
irresistible. You see,
yeah, yeah,
you've
I
got
guess
all these
so.
women after you now.
Yeah, 300 plus fake profiles later, here I am.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Well,
but
you say, but no. We have to do something. I don't know what the answer is. Um, we have to do something, and if it's just chipping away at it, well, so be it. As I say, we find these are doing well because it's you. It's your voice, it's your words, it's you there sitting saying, it's not me talking to you.
yeah, and it's and it's people listening to their, like I said before, their instincts.
Yeah.
I know it's happened to me before. I'm saying I've had someone send me a friend request, and then I look at the profile and I'm just like, immediately I'm like, nah, that's not a real
Yeah.
person. You know what I'm saying? And there's been a few where they've been a little bit more creative, and I'm like, hold on, let me see, like, who are you? Where did you come from? You know what I'm saying? And it's not because I don't think that I would look good enough or I'm worthy of having someone who's a model or whatever contact me, it's because, I look at my lifestyle, I look at their lifestyle, and I just start asking the questions like, why are you here? Or,
Yeah,
what do you see? There's nothing wrong with asking those questions. And then again, it's getting out, it's meeting people, and then going to meet those people in person.
mm.
Um, and
Because you
it's
can't,
paying.
and um, so many people are talking to scammers for 2 or 3 years. Well, I mean, for a start, you wouldn't be sent to Syria for 2 or 3 years.
No, no. Even as a deployment, it's not. It's a year maybe,
Yeah,
maybe, but not for 2 or 3 years. No. And it's again, it's getting the information, it's
yeah,
educating yourself, it's getting outside of that little bubble that people like to stay in. They like to stay into themselves and that little space, and they don't really want to venture out of it. But you have to in order to protect yourself, because again, we talked yesterday, there's so much money that goes into this scam business. They make a killing.
absolutely. I mean, we sat here now. So a scammer is sat in a room, or, so you've got a team of scammers and they're going to sit in a room. Their catchment area that they choose from is literally the world, because they are sat there, they're working shifts, because they're scamming from, the west of the USA down to Australia and New Zealand and all points in between. So they're literally scamming everybody. So they just look and they get the people. So we're sat here now, and there's going to be tens of thousands of people across the world currently being scammed.
Hmm.
And as I said to you, we've had anything from $10 on an iTunes card to $2.5 million.
Yeah,
Now that
I can't
is just, I
look.
can't get
If
my
you
head
if
around that.
I can't either. If you're gonna use my face and make that kind of money, I would like a percentage of that. I'm just
You
saying I
don't
should
really
be
want
getting a
to
cut.
say
I
yeah.
mean, it's bad, but if you're making that much money by using my image, at least break me off a little. You know what I'm saying? Like, and say, hey,
But
look, man,
yeah, I mean, it is just, if somebody turned up at your door and you went to the door and this really nice man was at the door and you said, hello, pretty, gorgeous, can I come in and talk to you? You close the door in their face.
Mhm.
You would
Yeah,
think, oh no, there's this creep being at the door and he's been really awful. They do it online. They look at their phone and they get a picture, and this picture's saying, hello, pretty, hello, gorgeous, can I come in? And that's it. Bang, they're in a conversation with them.
hmm
You know, we
you
tell
know
the
what?
kids, don't talk to strangers.
Exactly, exactly. Don't talk to strangers. And honestly, some women, they should hold men to a higher standard.
Yeah,
Don't start your conversation with "Hello, beautiful," or,
yeah,
unless we know each other, unless
yeah.
we've gotten to that point. That should not be the initial statement when we're
No,
talking. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think it's a bit of an insult because it's not respectful.
No,
You know,
it's
I'm,
not.
I'm quite happy to say that if somebody, in a bar said to me, hello, pretty, I'd smack their face because it's not what you want. If that's what they think ladies want, I'm sorry, they don't.
No, they
But they
don't.
get
And
caught by it.
yeah, but and that's why I say the women have to hold men to a higher standard. That
Yeah,
don't approach me like that. Don't come at me with that. Talk to me like a regular
yeah,
human being. Talk to me like a woman. Talk to me with some respect or whatever. Don't talk to me with the intent that, or with the assumption that I'm gonna just accept
yeah.
how you talk to
And
me.
that is the assumption. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Right. Well,
it's
it is. It's just changing things. It's getting the word out, but it's changing the way people look at things.
yeah, and it's
Because you want some respect. You
mhm.
really do want some respect from somebody that's talking to you. And
Yes,
and
we do.
to me, that first couple of sentences that they give you, that's your judgment on them.
Hmm.
So a normal person, if you were going to contact somebody, you would want them to have a good opinion of you. You
Yeah,
know,
and that's for me, that's paramount. Like when I meet someone in person, or wherever, I want them to have a good first impression of me.
Yeah.
And it's something that, it's a standard that everybody should have, period. And I would just say that be cautious, be overly cautious.
Never send money.
Never ever send money. Never send money. Never send any type. I can't stress being cautious enough.
Yeah.
It's paramount that you really take a look at who you're talking to. Never ever send anybody money, ever, never. I don't care what the story is.
No.
You know what I'm saying? If they
There
can't
is
meet you in
never
person,
ever a reason.
yeah, no, there's not. There's never. I don't care if they're standing there saying that they're on fire right now. Well, there's nothing I can do for you. Money is not going to fix that anyway. You know.
No,
So I
I've
mean,
heard. Women will say to me, "Well, he was crying down the phone." Well, come on. He was crying down the phone because he needed $500 because he'd lost his gun, and the sergeant wanted him to pay for his gun. Well, I'm sorry, that might happen in the Nigerian army. It does not happen in the US Army.
no, it does not.
No. Can I
It
just
does
at
not.
this point, people keep coming underneath and saying, "Where is my cat?" Because at some point, Margaret, my cat, jumps on the back of my chair and watches what's going on. She's asleep. She's asleep in another room, and I'm not going to disturb her. So that's what's happened to my cat.
It's probably
So
because of the time difference.
yeah, it could be. It's the wrong time. When I first started to do this, she was confused about me talking to the screen.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. I mean, police don't help. And we've got to change that as well. This is a crime. This is fraud. This is a crime. They might not be able to do anything about it, and they can't because your criminal is in a different continent. But they should take a report of it because until you're part of this world, you have you've got no idea how big it is and how much money is happening. I mean, before you were used, Terence, you would never even think that this went on in this scale and the amount of
No.
money that went.
No, I had no clue. I was oblivious to it. And it blew my mind once I
Yes.
started to find out or once I started to see. And you're absolutely right. The police may not be able to do much about it, but they should report it,
Yeah.
and it should be sent to the FBI. There should be a whole division that works these kind of things. Because I think if enough of this is reported, it's like I said, if enough people are saying, "Hey, this is a problem," somebody has to eventually take note of it and be held accountable.
I think probably less, well, around 5 to 7% is reported, and that's so they don't know. They don't
Yeah.
know the size of the problem, So I'm going to
No.
wrap it up because we only have a certain amount of time, and then they cut us off.
Yeah.
And I have had that happen before. So I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time this morning.
No, it's not a problem. And I'd like to thank you all, actually. You guys, your team has done wonders for a lot of people, even myself included. And I am truly, truly appreciative of everything that you guys have done for me and that you do on a daily basis, because we both know that those profiles still keep coming in.
They do, and I will say the girls that work on Instagram, they're absolutely brilliant, and they do keep an eye on everybody. And I just like to know, girls, you're appreciated by everybody because they all say the same thing. But yeah, somebody's got to do it.
And I'm glad you guys are. Really, I humbly appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It's very nice to be appreciated, I can tell you that. And so, have a very good day.
You too.
And we'll
we
talk
should do
again
this again sometime.
Okay. Bye now.
All right. Have a good one.